What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another live stream on the channel. Bitcoin is showing some signs of a recovery here. It's trying to get above that $113,000 level. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin. Is this the move up to all-time highs, or is this going to be just, again, another fake out? We're going to talk about all of that in today's live stream, so please make sure to leave a like as you're tuning into the stream. I can see already we have over 100 people in the live stream, which is absolutely amazing. Smash the likes, get your questions in as well. I'll be addressing all of your questions in the comment section as well. And straight after this live stream, I'm going to be going over to my VIP group and I'm going to be doing another live stream. The live stream for the VIPs will be a portfolio management session. The last one we had tremendous feedback. People said it was very helpful. They managed to get their portfolio in shape. So if you've got a portfolio and you think it needs amending, then make sure you're there on that VIP live stream in about an hour's time, because I'm going to be going over all of your portfolios and analyzing them. Brutally honest. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. So if you've got a portfolio that needs shaking up a little bit, come into the stream and I'll address it. So we're seeing some signs of recovery here. Obviously, you hit the live stream because of the title. Uptober is back. Maybe that's a bit hyperbolic, okay? But we are seeing some signs of a recovery, and I'm going to discuss those signs exactly. Now, I want to make it very clear. I am not necessarily super bullish on Bitcoin right now. I still think there are risks with Bitcoin's overall structure. And I've said many times on this channel, and I'll say it again, I think there's a solid chance Bitcoin has topped for this year. I didn't say it's topped forever. I said I think it's topped for this year. And I might be wrong on that. And I'll happily be wrong because it means we all make more money, probably. But there are signs out there to me that Bitcoin may have topped around 126. The power law suggests that that was potentially a top because we rejected at a major level on the power law. The 4-year cycle suggests that that was a potential top. And, there were local things flashing to me that that could potentially be a top. Now, whether that will be a local top, we'll have to wait and see, right? But I think there's a solid chance that is the high, and then we'll have a sizable correction before going higher. What would invalidate that? I would say a break above 120 would probably invalidate what I just said. If we were to break above 120K, then I'd probably say, yeah, we're going to get a new all-time high. We're going to go above 126. But until we do that, we could very much be in a dead cat bounce scenario for BTC. We could. And anyone who says it's a guarantee that we hit 150 this year or 200 this year, they're talking out of their ass. No one knows exactly what's going to happen. I don't even know. Okay, I've said many times, I think 126 could be some form of a top, maybe a cycle top, maybe a local top. But either way, I think that that was some sort of significant top. And we might not see those prices for a little bit longer than what some people think. But we take it level by level. All right, we take it level by level. We are not in a bear market yet on Bitcoin. In fact, Bitcoin has bounced back into the trading range that I've been talking about. We bounced above the golden pocket, okay? There was actually signs today that we were going to lose the golden pocket. This morning, I checked Bitcoin, and, you can see we were below the golden pocket early on today. People were thinking we were going back down potentially to 103 again. But what's interesting, and I'll show you this chart here, is gold. Gold started dumping. And when gold dumps, Bitcoin typically pumps. There's a very clear inverse correlation between BTC and gold. People have constantly been cheering on the gold rally, hyping it up. I've been telling you guys, gold pumping isn't necessarily good for Bitcoin. Gold dumping would be good for Bitcoin because they are both directly competing to be the global reserve currency. All right? The global store of value, the global hard money. We all know the dollar's not hard money. We all know that the euro is not hard money. The pound certainly isn't. And even the Swiss franc isn't. It's between these two, gold and Bitcoin. And if gold is stealing the show, then Bitcoin sits on the back seat. And that is essentially the story of this entire year, is gold has been stealing the show. All of the money, all of the attention, all of the mind space, mind share has been going to gold. And therefore, Bitcoin hasn't necessarily had the year that many of us would have expected. It's still done good, don't get me wrong, but many people would have thought Bitcoin would be around 100K, 150K by now, 200K by now, not 112K. And I'd say one of the primary reasons for that, for the lackluster growth of Bitcoin, has been because gold has stole the show. But not anymore. Gold is starting to dump. And I actually called the gold top to the T. On the day I called the gold top in my VIP Discord. We were all having a chat about gold. People were giving their targets. One guy was saying this, one guy was saying that, as we do. You know, we all have our opinions, and it's fine. It's okay if people are wrong sometimes. But I was adamant. I was absolutely adamant that that was the top for gold. And I said, I asked the question, is anyone shorting gold? Because it looked so obvious to me that gold was going to roll over. You had people literally in these random ass countries queuing up in their numbers to buy gold. If that isn't a top signal, then I don't know what is. There's a clear top signal on gold. And it's interesting. The fact that gold has gone down has actually boosted the potential of Bitcoin. So it's great to see. So what are our levels? What are the levels that we need to pay attention to? Well, like I said, we broke above the golden pocket, which is great. A daily close above this golden pocket would be amazing. We did that yesterday, but if we could do it again today, that would more or less mean that we are, clearly above the golden pocket now. We are back into the trading range, so we also broke above a level which we lost. What about the bull market support band? Well, we're not quite above that yet. We wicked above the bull market support band, but we didn't, we're not still there now. So it could just be a wick. So Bitcoin seems to be finding its next point of resistance at the bull market support band, which is currently around 112.9 to 110.8K. That is the region Bitcoin is currently struggling to get above right now. But it did wick above it earlier, okay? Followed by a bit of a rejection. So that is the key line in the sand for me. If we want to be back into an uptrend for Bitcoin, if we could reclaim the bull market support band and get back above it, that would be excellent. Because you can see the last time we fell below the bull market support band, we came down to 74K as the lows. We also did a double bottom then. And that's why the similarities here. You can see the double bottom here, right? One low, another low, one low, another low. Two bottoms at the same point. Double bottoms are an extremely bullish candle structure, okay? They typically mark macro bottoms when you get a double bottom at the same point because it's basically just giving confirmation that that is the low and we're not going any lower. You can see we reclaimed the bull market support band, and then that is where we really started moving up heavily. So Bitcoin needs to reclaim the bull market support band, and that would be very bullish. Then after that, I would be looking at the macro resistance trend line. That is the name that I personally coined. But many people know about this. I didn't create this trend line. Obviously, a lot of people know about it, but I refer to it every single live stream, every single video, because it is a very, very important level of resistance. And it stems all the way back to 2017. And that is exactly why it is so important for me. This has been the entire story of Bitcoin since essentially 2017. Most guys here were not even around in 2017 for Bitcoin. And this has been the resistance that whole time. Now, fortunately, we did get a break above it. But once we lost it, it has basically become resistance again. So Loki's asking, are there any copy trading slots available on the bundle? Yes, there are. There are still a few slots left, but the way the market's starting to move up now, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets full. I really wouldn't be surprised if it gets full this week. But yeah, really wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, that would then become resistance. That major trend line would become resistance again. We flipped it into support, then we flipped it back into resistance, then we failed to use it as support, and now it's going to become resistance again. That currently stands around 118, 119K, somewhere like that. That is why I say if we break 120, then it's all to play for again, and we'll probably see actually a blow off top if we break that. If we break 120, we'll probably see a high a lot higher than 126. We'll probably see something in the 130s, maybe even the 140s. So I'm open to many different scenarios. I'm not blind, okay? I'm not stubborn. If the data changes, my thesis will change as well. I'm open to ideas. I'm open to change my thesis if the charts prove otherwise, okay? And if we look at the prime oscillator down here, by the way, you can get these indicators linked down below if you're interested. They're very, very good. You can see that we are printing bullish divergences. And, if you go on the 4-hour here, let's take a look at the 4-hour on Bitcoin. It did just print. Okay, that was here. So we had another dump. Maybe we're a little bit high on the 4-hour, actually. But it did print the low down here, right? So maybe we get a little bit of a cool off here and then get another bounce. It's very possible. But nevertheless, that bull market support band is very much acting as a potential resistance point right now. Gold has rallied for 6 weeks. It needs corrections for more upside. It's possible, or it's possible gold is now put in a top and it's going to go into a prolonged bear market now. It's very possible that could be the case as well. The way gold runs, it runs very quickly during, money supply increase, during debasement of the currency, and during macro uncertainty, geopolitical uncertainty. And then when things start to calm down, it literally just cools off and no one talks about gold again. Everyone forgets about it. And I think part of the reason why gold is dumping is because we are starting to get some geopolitical certainty. Okay, Trump is expected to meet Xi in South Korea. I believe that is in a couple of weeks, is it? Because someone confirm? Let me just see. Okay, this Twitter account's really good for geopolitical news. So, oh, okay. It just changes every hour. Every single hour I read, it changes. So he just said an hour ago, maybe Xi meeting won't happen. Maybe that's why we've just cooled off. It's a different story every freaking hour. An hour ago, China wants to discuss tariffs. Trump will see President Xi in 2 weeks in South Korea. So an hour ago, this is the thing I saw. Trump said he will see President Xi in 2 weeks in South Korea. So that's bullish, right? You read that and you think, yeah, that's bullish. He'll discuss a lot of things with China's Xi, who's the leader of China, in 2 weeks. Okay, so you get 2 posts here of him saying that he's going to meet the Chinese leader. And then, a few minutes go past, and then he says, maybe the meeting won't happen. It's like this guy just keeps flip-flopping every single hour. There's a different narrative. 1 hour it's their meeting, they're best friends. Next minute it's they hate each other and the meeting's not going to happen. So it's getting a bit frustrating now how it seems to change every single hour. Each interview there's a different narrative, and it just means that the market becomes very uncertain for investors, and that is why gold has been doing well so much. But now we're getting macro uncertainty again, so maybe gold started pumping. I mean, it gets hard to keep up with sometimes, but the point is, gold moves based on debasement of the currency and geopolitical uncertainty. It's been a very uncertain geopolitical environment. We've had world wars. Right, we had a war in the Middle East. We had a war or we still do, in Europe. Okay, so gold's gone up because of that. We've had debasement of currency. Gold's gone up because of that. We've had the tariff Armageddon. Gold's gone up because of that. If now we're going to get some de-escalation, we're going to get trade deals, we're going to get rate cuts, and more economic certainty, then maybe, gold will cool off a bit. But rate cuts are actually bullish for gold as well. So we'll have to just see. But if we check gold, let's see, it's down 5% today. So clearly, things are starting to get less uncertain in a way. And all of this last minute talk from Trump, I think it's just negotiation stuff. I think the market is pricing in a deal. If you look at Polymarket is typically correct. That seems to indicate that there's going to be some sort of a deal. So all this talk, I think it is just talk, to be quite honest with you. I think there's going to be some sort of positive news coming out from China and the US. See, so there's a 78% chance that there's a US and China tariff agreement by November 10th. So it's highly likely there's some sort of a deal, even despite all this talk from Trump. I think this truly is just last minute bargaining. Yeah, Trump said the meeting might not happen. Yeah, I missed that. That's the thing. You turn away for 30 minutes and you miss huge news, right? Once the China deal is made, governments open up and rate cuts end of the months, we will see a huge pump to all-time highs again. Mark my words. I do agree with you. I do agree. Well, but not necessarily with Bitcoin. Maybe with Bitcoin, but I'm not so certain. I think total 3 can go a lot higher. But Bitcoin did show signs of exhaustion for me. But there's still there's a good chance it could go higher. I'm not ruling it out. Yeah, Say is very good. Say at 20 cents is an absolute steal. People are going to look at Say at 20 cents now and they'll think, I'm not going to buy that, right? But when it's at 50 cents, they'll be like, oh, I wish I would have bought Say at 20 cents. I wish I would have bought it. Always happens. You're getting oversold. You're getting up reversal. You're getting all the signs of my indicators here that Say is bottomed out. All the freaking signs. Bottomed out, oversold, up reversal, everything. Everything's flashing. Fib level. Man, I need to buy more Say. Honestly. I didn't think I'd deploy much more money into this market, man. I did most of my deploying a while ago at better prices, but man, 20 cents. I think I need to buy some more. I think I need to buy some more Say. Expect the buy alert very soon in the VIP. Yeah, gold dumped 5% today. That's huge. This gave back a lot of the gains as of late, but it's still up a lot year to date. Casper is a great long-term hold. It's a bit early to say that. It hasn't proven itself yet to be a long-term hold. Let's see it survive a crypto winter, and then we can address that comment. But as of now, it's dumped, 80% during a bull market? 70% during a bull market? So it hasn't performed very well in a bull market. God forbid we had a brutal bear market. I mean, what would it do in that instance? Archie the Legend, two things. One, Say took a 30% dump, so did the market. Fundamentals still holding strong for it to hit $1. Yeah, I think it'll still hit $1. Maybe not $2, but I'm still pretty certain on $1. And then two, delayed bull run aligns with GTA 6 gaming season primed. Man, it's so early to say. I'm not buying a lot of these narratives. I'm hearing like Raoul Pal say it's going to be Q2 2026 and all this, banana zone this, banana zone that. He said similar stuff last cycle. And look, the guy's relatively smart. I'm not saying he's not educated. He clearly is a good speaker, but it's not that easy. People think they can just predict the month of the top really easy. It's not easy. I give estimates on when I think the top could be, but you just got to take it with a grain of salt, right? But yeah, this whole like 2026 Q2 banana zone, it's way too early to say. You take it freaking day by day, level by level. I don't know why people need to know in a year in advance what's going to happen. If Bitcoin loses the Gaussian channel, then we enter a bear market. If it doesn't lose the Gaussian channel, we're still in a bull market. It's really that simple. So if we were to lose the Gaussian channel, let's say in 3 months, that rules out, in my opinion, your delayed bull market thesis. If we still hold the Gaussian channel in 3 months' time, then yeah, we can talk about potentially an extended cycle, right? But people feel like they need to know everything in the future years and years and years in advance. You don't need to know everything years and years and years in advance. We take it day by day, week by week. You don't always need to know the future way before it happens. Most of the time, people are wrong about the future. Something comes in that you didn't expect, whether it's tariffs, a war, whatever. So just you can't have a crystal ball, my friend. It doesn't work like that. Cryptex's long on Avantis is up 40%. That is insane. Let me see. Chart alerts. All right, so Cryptex posted that he opened a long on Avantis, 3x leverage. Where was it when he posted that long? 58 cents. What is Avantis at right now? 69 cents. That is incredible. That is pure genius. Nothing less. So he gave the long alert in the chat earlier today at 58 cents. Just literally a few hours ago, he gave it at 58 cents, and then it's just had this massive move. So he called it at the bottom, right? That's where he called it. And then it's just freaking sent it to Valhalla. And that's 3x leverage as well. So you'd be up 40% in a few hours. You've just made back your membership times 10 probably. You basically paid off the bundle on one call from Cryptex, who's my technical analyst within the group. So you get my calls, you get Cryptex's calls, you get everyone's calls. It's a great place to be. You're up 32% on Avantis with him. Nice. Great gains. 331 watching and only 105 likes. Smash the likes to support Archie. More likes, more alpha. Absolutely. Welcome to the stream, Bloomfield. Can I please send my wallet? What do you mean by that? Can you send your wallet? If you're asking, can you pay in crypto for the bundle? Yes, you can. If you want to pay for the bundle in crypto, you just need to join my Discord. And there is a section which says pay in crypto, and you can do that very easily. I'll link that in the chat now. Ozzy says, you always keep it real. Aside from you, which crypto influencers in the space do you actually trust? None of them. Absolutely none of them. I couldn't trust them with one thing. Most of them are backstabbers. Most of them are just purely in it to rinse people as much as they can. They'll do rug pulls. They'll do paid promotions for pure garbage coins. And then if they don't do that, they just don't know what they're talking about. So honestly, I'm really saddened to say this, but I don't think I could trust a single one of them, to be honest. Gaming cryptos are dead? Yes, they are, and that's why they're probably a good buy. Gaming crypto is dead equals exactly why I'm buying the bottom of some. Exactly. I'll tell you a gaming coin which looks very bottomed out to me. Guns. Gunzilla Games. This looks so dead that it just looks like it's going to freaking rally. That's how it looks to me. It is the best game in crypto in terms of quality, in terms of graphics. It's on console, and it's on Solana. And the game, and you can buy it on Binance and Crypto.com. So you can buy it on like top tier exchanges and Kraken. Like maybe there's some YouTubers which aren't that bad, but they just regurgitate all the same things that I say anyway. So it's like there's no point in even listening to them because they're just echoing the same things that I say. But I don't watch any of them. There'll be some that are decent, like they have decent alpha, but it's just like they're just talking about Avantis a few days after I called it, right? So you might as well have just got it early when I was talking about it. Crypto John is the worst. You know, Crypto John used to be okay. Like he was never a smart guy, really, but he was somewhat genuine. So he never had the brains, but he was never like a bad guy, you know? He was always like somewhat genuine, you know, goes to work, blue collar. But then the greed really got to him. I remember he gave like 6 or 7 straight back-to-back rug pulls. Flappy, Draggy, Watt. Can anyone remember the others? There's like so many. Molly. Molly was another one. Like back to back to back to back to back. He rinsed it. I mean, that guy probably made millions of dollars in a month. All right. Millions of dollars in a month off his community with those plays. But yeah, he used to be somewhat genuine, you know? And then it just kind of all flipped when he realized that you can you can do that type of stuff. Probably going to swap my Casper for Say. The Casper devs are not promoting this project, plus no new exchanges, man, feels bad. Yeah, Casper's ran by a bunch of incompetent marketers. They do not know how to market Casper to save their life. Like, they are purely incompetent. Absolute incompetent individuals. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If I was the head of Casper's marketing, Casper would be right at the top, just behind Ethereum. And that's not delusional. I know my ability. If I was in charge of Casper's marketing, it would genuinely be like a top 5 crypto. Because it has that potential. But no one seems to have the money to get exchange listings. I would pay the money with my own money. I would pay up myself. I would get the listings myself if I was in charge of the marketing, if I had some sort of benefit from it. But man, people behind it must be really stingy. I do not understand how they haven't got exchange listings yet. All I can think is it's pure incompetence. They're just unable to do it because they don't have the money or they don't have the connections or whatever. Or they just don't want to do it. It seems like they just don't want to do it at this point. They're just kind of putting their middle finger up to all the investors. And waiting to break even on Casper. That is a logical fallacy. Why would you wait to break even? It doesn't make sense. You know, I know people who bought Cardano at the top of last bull market, and they said they're just waiting to break even before they sell their Cardano. They bought it at what, $3? I said to them, just freaking sell your Cardano. You're down 80%. Just sell it. Just get rid of it. It's not going to go to all-time highs anytime soon. You might be waiting 10 years till you freaking break even. I said, put it in Solana, put it in Sui, put it in something else. I can't remember what I said. Solana, Sui, and I can't even remember. It was a while ago, right? Casper, maybe. All right. And man, Cardano still hasn't done anything. Had they flipped it into Sui when I said Sui did a 7x, Solana did like a 2x. So they basically would have made back a lot of their loss already had they just done what I said. But they had this fallacy in their mind of, I need to wait until I break even before I can sell. That is just a pure fallacy. It's logically incoherent. The way you should look at things is this the best investment right now? Am I putting my money in the best moving vehicle? If the answer is yes, then keep it. If the answer is no, who cares about your P&L? Who cares if you're up 10x, if you're down freaking 50%, if you're down 90%, or if you're at break even? It doesn't matter. In my opinion, the context of whether you're up, whether you're down, whether you're break even, it's irrelevant. It's not about the past, it's about the future. What's the coin going to do in the next few months? That's what it comes down to. And if the coin looks promising for the next few months, then keep hold of it. And in my opinion, Casper looks bottomed out here. It looks like it should have a rally. But it's not the way to think of it is, I'm just going to wait until I break even and then I'm going to sell. That is not the way to invest. You could end up holding a coin for 15 years before you freaking break even. But if you cut your losses, put it into something better, you could be in a profit. And I've seen it so many times. People say to me, I'm just waiting until I break even. They're waiting a long ass time sometimes. People bought XRP at the top in 2017. They were waiting 5 years until they broke even, or whatever it was. 7 years till they broke even. So you just got to look at it in this way that I'm going to explain now. What are the best cryptos to invest in right now, looking into the future? If that coin you're down on does not encompass that list, if it does not feature in that list, slack it off, cut your losses, and move it into something better. What are my opinions on AVAX? Honestly, It's okay, but I would way prefer Sui as an investment over AVAX. Like, I don't understand, like, what's the appeal to AVAX when you've got Sui? You know, that's kind of my thought process with AVAX. Like, it's down a ton from all-time highs, I'll give you that. But it probably won't get to those highs again. What happens with a lot of these coins, right, that are kind of dying out, dwindling away, they typically top out between the 786 and their golden pocket. That's typically the point in which they top the coins that are kind of dying out. So coins like Cardano, coins like AVAX, coins like Polkadot, they probably will not make a new all-time high this cycle. And I've been saying this for years, and people call me crazy when I said that, but it seems like, you know, it's going to play out that way. That's how it seems. So most likely AVAX maybe will make a move to there, but I don't see it going above its all-time high anytime soon. Archie, didn't you just buy some Casper? Yes, I did. I'm bullish on Casper. I'm not fudding Casper. I bought Casper at 5 cents. That was always my level. I was going to DCA more into Casper. People were DCAing into Casper up here at 13 cents, at 12 cents. This was my buy zone all along, 5 cents. I said I refuse to buy Casper unless it comes down to 5 cents or unless it has a positive breakout to the upside. Guess what it did? It came down to 5 cents and I bought more of it. So you got to have your levels, guys. You got to stick to these levels. My level was always 5 cents. Casper is a buy zone for me. I was selling Casper up here when everyone else was head in the clouds, Moon Boy, euphoric, deluded. Everyone was delusionally bullish up here, and I was selling. And I was telling other people, Casper's going to have a significant retracement. You ought to sell it. People didn't listen to me. Shy Dash was going on his Twitter rants left, right, and center. People didn't listen. And I was right again. It came down basically a quarter of the value from when I sold it. Almost. In fact, it did. It wicked below. So you could have bought Casper 5x cheaper than when I sold it up here. Had you listened to me? And not these Moonboy YouTubers promising you the world, telling you your $20,000 is going to turn into $20 million. What a ridiculous thing to say. What do I think about Bitcoin dominance? So this is probably the hardest point to predict dominance because it gave us this massive scam wick. It then flashed an overbought signal, and now it came down, and now it's starting to move back up again. So everyone's adamant that it's going to retest that wick. I don't think that's a guarantee, okay? I don't think that's a guarantee. I mean, look here, right? It had this massive wick here, and it ended up coming down first. It was months and months and months later that it then filled the wick. So I think it will at some point fill this wick. It doesn't have to be instant, is what I'm saying, all right? This wick will get filled at some point. There's no doubt about that in my mind. In 2026, this wick will definitely get filled, but it could roll over to the downside, then fill the wick later on, right? Especially if we go risk on here. If the Russell 2000 makes a breakout move and total 3 follows, then what I'm saying is going to play out. It will go down and then fill the wick later on. I already hold Sui and Sei. Yeah, good picks. I feel like Casper is more trouble than it's worth. Way too stressful to hold. Yes, especially if you're over allocated, but no if you've got a reasonable amount. If you've only got like 5% Casper, it's not going to cause stress. But if you've got freaking 50% or 80%, then yeah, it's going to cause a ton of stress. And by the way, I at one point had 50% Casper, but I sold it when it was up freaking 4x for me. I'm a VIP member. I want you to review my portfolio. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a VIP live stream straight after this stream. So make sure you make your way over to that. I'm going to be going live with the VIP members, reviewing their portfolios in depth. So make sure you're there for that event. The demand for the VIP has been insane lately. And the more demand we get, the more we are going to be forced to increase our prices based off the demand. So I highly recommend you get in now while the prices are still pretty reasonable. The demand's been crazy lately for the VIP. And especially for the bundle, because there's only 200 slots available on my copy trading as of right now. I'm going to try and get it lifted, but I can't promise that. But as of right now, there's only 200 slots available. And most of it has already been filled. Okay. Most of the 200 is already filled now. So we're just remaining on the last like 50 slots or whatever it is, right? So that could be filled fully in literally a week. If crypto continues to rally for the next week, that will probably be full next week. So it just depends on the overall market. And if you want something for free, there's no charge here. I recommend booking a call with one of my crypto experts. It's absolutely free of charge. Use the same link to join my memberships and just hit that, and you can book a call for free. The guy will help you out with your portfolio, and he'll get things straight for you, and there's no charge. So that's the benefit of it. So let's take a quick look at the market. Bitcoin is declining as Trump has said that the meeting may not happen now. Trump, maybe the Xi meeting won't happen. That came out just before I went live. So that is the main reason why Bitcoin is dumping right now after it had a nice move up. And the main area that we are finding some resistance is that power law. Sorry, not power law. Bull market support band. Why do I call it the power law? We are finding resistance at the power law as well, but that's much higher up. I'll show you guys this. Bitcoin power law. This is very interesting. Nobody is talking about quant. Quant's okay. Nobody's talking about it because there's better cryptos than it. So this is the power law chart for Bitcoin. And basically, this has been super accurate for a long period of time. The problem is it was invalidated last cycle, you could say, because we didn't actually hit the upper band. So many argue that the power law is now invalid because last cycle we did not actually come up to the upper resistance line, that purple line. Then the green line is your center line. You can see that has acted as resistance a few times, okay? Usually for like mid-cycle corrections, this is your resistance. But the problem is this entire bull market Bitcoin has been in since 2023, we have struggled numerous times to get above that center line. We haven't got above that line. That green line has been resistance this entire bull market. And that is why people are arguing the Bitcoin top might be in. That is one reason, okay? So it's just interesting to see. How about Ethereum? Let's check up on ETH. What's that set at? So Ethereum is holding its bull market support band nicely. Bitcoin is in the bull market support band, just in it. Solana is above its bull market support band, which is positive. Sui significantly below it. Says significantly below it. What about total market cap? Total market cap has reclaimed its bull market support band. And Total 3 has reclaimed its bull market support band. So again, in terms of the bull market support band, the alts are actually looking better than Bitcoin structurally, which is very interesting indeed. Maybe we're going to get a nice rally on the alts and Bitcoin's kind of just going to slowly grind up. Maybe that's what's ahead of us. If Trump can just stop spooking the markets with his tweets or his Truth Social posts, then maybe we'll get a nice rally with the alts. All right, guys. So I'm going to wrap up the live stream here. I appreciate all of you tuning in. I've given you the levels. Bitcoin just needs to get above that bull market support band, and we are pretty much good to go. And then if we get above the macro resistance trend line, which is currently just below 120, then we're probably going to see an all-time high on Bitcoin. But those are the two levels to look at. We're finding some resistance at that bull market support band. A break above that, in my opinion, would then lead to a 119K retest. A break above that, we'd then be going for this resistance line here. So we got basically two major levels to get above, and then we are heading for all-time highs. So let's see if it happens. I don't know if it'll happen, but if it does, I'll be very, very happy. But yeah, I've got a live stream to attend now. I'm going to be doing a VIP live stream for all of my VIP members, obviously. And if you are interested in joining the VIP, it is linked in the description. I love doing those live streams. And after it, there might even be a voice chat in the Discord. So I look forward to both of those things, which are going to happen pretty imminently here. So going to send out that announcement in the announcements channel, and that live stream will be underway. Appreciate all of you watching, and I'll see you